Good morning. My name is Enos Harris, and I'm a hearing officer for San Francisco Public Works. With me today is Jackie Vo, who is serving as the clerk of this hearing. This hearing is being conducted virtually via Zoom and is being recorded. A link to the hearing will be made available afterward on the San Francisco Public Works website. As this is a virtual hearing, there is no sign-in sheet. If you would like to receive notification of the results of today's hearing, please send an email to the address listed on your hearing notice. Today's public hearing is being held to consider one item, order number 212207, for administrative review of notice of violation number 082325-005-001. The violation is for non-compliant display slash occupancy, Article 5.9, Section 5.9-3 at the Embarcadero. My role as a hearing officer is to gather facts, listen to all testimonies, and make recommendations to the Director of Public Works. I will not make any decisions today. Instead, I will forward my findings and my recommendations to the Director, who will make the final determinations. Once the Director has made a decision, the Department will notify you if you have submitted contact information. The hearing will proceed as follows. Public Works will present the case. There's no time limit for this presentation. I will then call on the applicant to speak. Finally, I will hear from any member of the public or witness who wishes to speak. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes. The clerk will monitor the time and will notify you when you have 30 seconds remaining. If you are a party to the proceeding and would like to use visual materials, please let me know before you speak. You will still have the standard 3 minutes to present your comments. If you're using a computer, please use the raise your hand feature in Zoom when I call for public comments. All comments and questions should be directed to me, not to the applicant or to Public Works staff. If I believe a question is appropriate, I will ask it. If you cannot complete your statement within the 3 minutes, you may submit comments to me by the end of this hearing. After all comments have been heard, I will close the item. Before we begin the hearing items, I will accept general public comment on matters that are within the department's jurisdiction but not on today's agenda. Are there any public comments at this time?
I don't see anybody raise their hand.
Okay, perfect. Then we will close this section. We'll now begin the item on today's agenda. Order number 212207. May I have Public Works present the case?
Good morning. My name is Jessica Salome. I'm a street inspection supervisor for Public Works, and I will be presenting today's case. This is for notice of violation number 082325-005-001 for non-compliant display and occupancy at the Embarcadero and Taylor Street. On Saturday, August 23rd, at around 11 a.m., I visited the vending station at the Port of San Francisco and issued a verbal warning to Mr. Diego Sanchico. Upon returning later that day around 6 p.m., inspector found the display setup was not in compliance. The display area exceeded the maximum permitted footprint of 10 foot by 10 foot. As a result, a notice of violation 082325-005-001 was issued to Chico's Boutiques for non-compliant display occupancy due to exceeding the allowable use. A $250 fine was assessed. It is important to note that Mr. Sanchico has previously received multiple verbal warnings and formal notices of violation. On November 30th, 2024, he was issued notice of violation number 113024 063-001 by another inspector for the same offense involving a non-compliant display. A hearing was held on January 22nd, 2025. Following the hearing, a director's decision and invoice were sent via certified mail on February 19th, and the invoice was paid on October 15th, 2025. Mr. Diego Sanchico is the permit holder of Chico's Boutiques. This is the appeal letter. A copy of the notice of violation. Photos from the notice of violation. Around 11 a.m. Photos around 6 p.m. as well. More photos, and the Port of San Francisco's administrative regulations for mobile vendors. Vending equipment may not be more than 10 feet in length, 10 feet in depth, and 10 feet in height. Copy of the invoice. And this is the notice of violations and the director's decision and invoice from the previous citation. A copy of the previous citation, as well as his setup from the previous citation. And it's also to note that this violation should have been written at $500, seeing that it was his second offense. These violations are on a scale. First citation's $250. The second citation is $500. This violation was only written for $250. And that's all I have.
I have a question, Jessica. Is this specifically in reference to the clothes that are across the street? Is this what's exceeding the 10 by 10 by 10? I mean, not across the sidewalk.
Correct. So the pergola where you see the inspector standing next to, each pergola is 10 by 10.
Got it. So anything outside of the post of that pergola is in violation.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Does the applicant wish to speak? I mean, appellant, I'm sorry, does the appellant wish to speak?
I don't see any hand raised for public comments.
Okay, so then it's just, Public Works staff that's in this hearing?
Nobody raised their hand.
Okay. Well, if there are no further comments, I will close.
There might be a possible, I don't know who the phone number is
The
in the
ending.
attendees, but they might not know how to raise their hand using the phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Officer, you want me to allow them to talk?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So if you're dialing in, press *9 to raise your hand.
Okay.
You have to press *6 to unmute yourself.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, you guys. Good morning, folks. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Good morning.
All right. Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to appeal this or try to do it. Yes. In the morning of the date of the citation, I was working at the Pier 43. Yes, an officer from DPW came to me and told me about my display being out. For the rest of the day, I pretty much put it behind my booth where it usually belongs and is part of the 10 by 10. Now, unfortunately, when it was almost already closing time, so I had a friend who was there to take care of my booth while I go and pick up my vehicle from the parking lot where we have to pay an extra fare for having the van there. So when I went to get my vehicle, I let my friend watch my stuff while I'm there. He wasn't aware of of any of the rules. So since we were already closing, he moved the display to the front so he can have room to maneuver whatever he needed to maneuver in the back to start pre-closing the space. So in this time while I was gone, he apparently another officer from DPW came, and this is when the citation was given. I wasn't aware of it. My friend, unfortunately, he was intoxicated and didn't even tell me about the citation. If you guys can see the picture, whoever signed that document wasn't me. It was a friend of mine who was there. So I never actually received the citation or agreed to it. I'm well aware of the space limit that we have. If I would have, seen an officer come, I'm sure we could have talked about it reasonably. But I wasn't there at the moment. Not to mention, I had a little accident with the car while I was pulling out from the garage, so it took me a little bit longer to get back to the booth and get this going. So yeah, it is a little misfortunate because 250 is 250. This is the way of living for me. I do live by making my sales, but with the way the port works with the spaces to be allowed to sell, we only get like maybe 2 spaces per month at most, and there's really not a lot of income coming from the port, so I have to look at other places besides the Port of San Francisco to go and make my sales. So it kind of stings to get a $250 ticket when we're only selling really there only 2 days of the month, and we hardly ever get that kind of a money, and it's times are rough. I guess I really don't have any more evidence or anything else to say against it. I guess the decision just to have a little bit of maybe what would be the wording? Just a little bit of mercy, I guess, because it is pricey to be paying this kind of citations, and times are not that great economically. So that's all. I really don't have much to it. Yes, I did get a citation, like the officer said, about a year ago. I did take care of that as well because of course I still want to keep my permit, just for those tough moments when I need to come out and make a little bit of money. So of course I want to stay in good standing with the port, but if it could be a little bit of reasonable chance, like a break, I guess is what I'm asking for, for instead of having a citation, maybe they could just cut me a little slack and have a little break from that. But anyways, that's all pretty much I got is what I got. I don't have nothing else. And that was that. Thank you very much for the opportunity for allowing me to explain my situation.
I have a question for you. When the inspector came at 11 and mentioned that your display was outside of the regulations, what did you do with your display at that time?
So the display, we can put it in the back of the, as you can see, we have the little the booth itself.
Right.
So we're allowed to put the display in the back because it's
Okay.
there's room in the back and then it will be considered part of the 10 by 10. So that's exactly what I did. I moved it to the back for the rest of the day. But as the day was coming to an end, like I said, I left, and my friend must have moved it to the front, and I don't know what was he thinking, or he wasn't aware of what happened before, or wasn't allowed to bring that out to make some room to close up shop. I guess that's what happened.
Okay, and so when you closed, were the first things. I noticed that the display table was still full. Everything was still out.
Right, right. Well, in order to get into the booth, like we need the backspace to be open so we can start
Mhm.
getting out the bags and whatnot. Like for the most part, like the day was coming to an end. He was already supposed to be shutting down the sunglasses because I sell sunglasses, and so he was already beginning to do all this and just, I guess, pre-close, like put the vents where everything needs to go and start closing in the inside, because in the inside is also kind of like stocked with merchandise. So I guess that's the reason why he moved that just slid to the front, thinking that we're gonna be moving out soon and it wasn't gonna be a big deal. But apparently, it became bigger than that.
Yeah. I guess that's just a question because I know you say that you were closing, but from the display around 6 o'clock, everything seemed to be there. I still see foot traffic. Um, in front of your booth, but more specifically on your table, that all the things are still on the table, the glasses, all of the souvenirs that you were that you were displaying, and by your own admission, you knew the rules. So I'm just kind of I guess curious um why it was still out.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, we were pretty much done for the day because around 6, 7, it starts getting a little dark earlier.
Right.
So he was already supposed to start pre-closing all the stuff. Like I said, I took off to get the van a few blocks down the street, and when I came, this all happened. So yeah, like it might seem that we're still making sales. There's still foot traffic because there's foot traffic there pretty much all day and all night sometimes. But that was our goal, to start get going. And he was, like I said, it was my part naive that I left him there. I should probably told him to go get the car, but he doesn't drive, so it's just a bad timing. Everything was bad timing, and it might seem like we're still there working, but we had other things to do later on in the night, so it was that time. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I really don't, the pictures can say that we're still working, but our intention was already to get going and not, stay there any longer. And unfortunately, this display was pushed to the front, which makes it even more like guilty. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it.
No, thank you guys for
Okay. Do we have any other members from the public who wish to speak on this item or any other testimony?
Officer, I don't see anybody raise their hand, panelists or attendees.
Okay, perfect. Well, if there are no comments, I will close this item and make my recommendation to the director. So that is all. If there are no further comments, I will close this hearing. This hearing is now closed.
Have to stop recording.